In today's video, we're checking out the Mesa Boogie California Tweed 220. This is loaded with a 10-inch speaker. There's also a 12-inch speaker version, which I reviewed recently. But this is one of the nicest sounding 10-inch speaker combos you're going to find. It has an absolutely beautiful clean tone. Let's get into it. Here's the amplifier up close, and if you saw my review on the version with the 12-inch speaker, this is effectively the same amp but with a 10. So it's slightly lighter, it's a little bit smaller physically as well, which is always a good thing if you're looking to save a bit of space. So we get two inputs over here. Our normal input is this one. We get a gain, 3-band EQ, a presence control, and a master output. Just know with the gain almost all the way up to here, it's still not going to be that over-the-top drivey. This is a very clean pedal-friendly amplifier. It stays clean most of the turn until you start sort of cranking it up to about 2 or 3 o'clock. I'll showcase that in the video. It's great having a dedicated master volume. This is a single channel amp. I really dig it. On this side over here, we can change the power rating of the amplifier from 20 to 10 to 1 watt just by using this multi-watt power attenuation switch on this side. I love this feature. It's one of the best things I've seen on any amp. The reverb's located on the back of the amplifier, and you can turn it up this way to get more of it. Now, I found you don't need to push it any more than about there for most styles of music. It's a very prominent reverb. I've never even got it to 12 o'clock because, yeah, even at about here, it's just too much even for me, and I love reverb. The great news is we get an effects loop on the back. We get our send and return. You can also turn the reverb on and off via this foot switch jack here, and the foot switch is not included. We get two 4-ohm outputs over here, and this is an 8-ohm output going to the 10-inch Jensen speaker. Jensen speakers are made in Italy, and overall this is a nice light cabinet considering its size. I really dig it. Nice leather handle on the top as well, and it looks awesome. If you're a fan of Fender amplifiers like the Princeton or Deluxe Reverb, you're going to get a kick out of this. I think the cleans on this hold its own with some of the best combos I've tried. When it comes to the tube configuration, in the back we get 5 12 AX7s, 1 12 AT7 and 2 6V6 output tubes. So we get plenty of glass in the back, and I think this contributes to its beautiful tone. A huge thanks to Sky Music for the loan of this. I don't get to keep it, no money's changed hands, and this video is not sponsored in any way. If you want to help support the channel, I'll leave some affiliate links down in the description box below. Let's get into it. All right, let's kick it off with some clean tones. I'm going to start with some single coils thanks to this Kiesel. Now, if you're interested in the 12-inch speaker version, I played this exact guitar on my last review so you can compare the difference. I'll link that video down in the description. Anyway, let's give this a shot. So everything's basically 12 o'clock except for the presence, and we're on the 20-watt mode over here. Let's kick things off on neck pickup to begin with. Here we go. It feels really nice to play over to bridge and middle pickups together. Same thing. It's still clean. It's maybe got just a hair of sort of overdrive or clipping on there, but very little, which is awesome. Let's crank up the drive just a little bit more. I'm also going to turn up the mids and just back off the treble slightly, so this should give us a bit more of a rounder sound. Here we go. It still feels very clean, but it gives you a lot back when you really dig in. Let's crank up the drive a little bit more. I now have the gain on the amplifier up at 3 o'clock. I'm going to start with my volume control down. I've also just turned the reverb and bass down here too. Here we go. That's pretty much dead clean. Now with it up. Yeah, I don't love the low end response just with the gain cranking like this, so what I'm going to do is just bring the bass down a little bit. I'm going to bring up the master but back off the gainer here. Let's try that again. That is so much better to my ear. Let us know if you could hear a difference on the recording. So yeah, if you're a blues player, you can definitely get some usable tones out of this. Just as you sort of incrementally crank the gain up, back the bass down a little bit, it seems to work better with this 10-inch speaker. Let's try some clean tones now on my Tokai Love Rock electric guitar. And what I've done, I've turned the gain on the amplifier down, the treble we're going to turn up, and we're also just going to back off the mids and bass a little bit more for these humbuckers. And this should sound pretty great based on my experience with the last amplifier. Here we go. What a beautiful sound. Sounds awesome. Let's crank up the gain a little bit more. I'm going to start with my volume down again. We'll go for like a nice bluesy sort of dynamic sound. A little bit more on the volume. And all the way up. So that's just on the edge of breakup. I think this is going to sound pretty great with the Warm Audio Centavo, which is basically like a clon. So this is the starting tone on the bridge pickup. Volume down, you can still get it to clean up. And volume all the way up. That's the great thing about amps like this. You can get them to their sweet spot, hit them with the front end of the pedal, or hit the front end of the amp, I should say, with the pedal, and all of a sudden you've got your lead tone, and it sounds great. Now I just cranked the gain up for that last sort of rhythm pass that I did there with those chords, and man, this thing's an absolute monster, and it handles pedals beautifully. Let us know what you think of the tone. Over to my Telecaster now. We're going to take a look at the multi-watt switch on the front of the amplifier. So we're going to start at 20 watts, we'll switch it to 10, and then 1 watt. And what I'll do, I won't boost the 1 watt in post, and then I'll play again and I will boost it so you can get a good sense of the tone quality. On the last amplifier of the California Tweed series I tested, this recorded beautifully. So let's give this a shot on both pickups. 111 dB at its peak. 105 dB at its peak. 96 dB at its peak. So what I'm going to do now is boost this up in post. It still records beautifully. The good thing about this mode is you can practice at home at lower volumes and also record at lower volumes without blowing your ears out. And this is how it sounds boosted in post with the Centavo Overdrive. Let's have a listen to this. That brought the volume back up to about 103 dB, so it's getting loud pushing it with the pedal, but I would expect that anyway because we are boosting the front end performance of the amp. But yeah, what a great sounding little amplifier. Let us know what you think. Let's wrap this up. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on this Mesa Boogie California Tweed 220 with a 10-inch speaker. So overall, this amplifier is beautiful. If you're a fan of something like a Princeton amplifier, or if you just want a combo with a 10-inch speaker that has plenty of clean headroom, this is a really great amp. I found the bass response slightly tighter on this one, meaning it's not quite as sort of heavy in the low end as the 12-inch speaker version, which is pretty much commonplace when you're talking about 10s versus 12s. But I think that this would suit someone playing at home and smaller gigs where you might be miking up, whereas the 12 might give you a little bit more headroom in the context of a band mix if you're just plonking it on the floor without any microphone. So if I was to buy one of these for home, I'd buy the one with the 10. If I was a gigging musician, I'd buy the one with the 12. The multi-watt option on the front of the amplifier is fantastic. It means I can record or play at low volumes at home or in an apartment and not annoy anybody. Again, this is another benefit to that 10-inch speaker. It just isn't quite as full range as the 12 when you're talking about the low end bass response, but it still has plenty of low end. So don't think that this sounds, you know, hollow or you're missing out on anything in the lows. It's very prominent. I actually played at Princeton the same day as playing this, and this sounds to my ear like a fatter amplifier. So yeah, the tones on these things are really something else. The reverb is extremely prominent. You won't ever have to get it up past about 9 or 10 o'clock on the back before it's just crazy, crazy reverb. Man, I couldn't believe how much reverb these have. So yeah, these are a really cool little amp, and while they're expensive, there's no denying that. They're expensive no matter where you live in the world. They do sound great, and I love the aesthetic of them as well. They actually have a really cool look to them. So if you're looking for a boogie that just does clean beautifully, this would be the way to go. Thanks for watching. Catch you soon. See ya.